What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Love is Blind Season 6, Episode 9, Secret Rendezvous. Let's get started with Jimmy and Laura. So, this is the day that Laura's family is going to be coming over to meet, not Jimmy, Jeremy and Laura. This is the day that Laura's family is going to be coming over to meet Jeremy. Before the family shows up, she goes through this list of worst case scenarios and how she expects him to act if the family doesn't like him or if they ask him certain things or whatever. So she seems extremely nervous. She wants this to go well and she wants him to make a good impression on her family. Jeremy is not bothered at all. He's cool, calm, and collected. So the family comes over and Laura brings up the whole Sarah Ann thing about Sarah Ann DMing Jeremy and how bothered she was by it. Now her brother says, well, at least he told you about it. He was transparent enough to tell you about them, to show you. And the sister-in-law was like, yeah, but why did he have to heart the comment? He could have just given it a thumbs up instead of hearting it. And so Laura agreed with that. She was like, yeah, you didn't have to heart the comment. And I agree with that as well. The thing that he really should have done, the most ideal thing for him to have done was to respond back to her and say, look, this is inappropriate. Don't appreciate it. I'm pretty sure, when Laura sees this, she's not going to like it either. So please refrain from reaching out to me or something to that effect. That's what really he should have done. But, men on these shows are just too chicken to do anything. So they talk about all of her pros and cons and like why does she end up choosing him, and she talks about the pros and cons and how the pros outweighed the cons, and the cons was basically like the fact that he likes these damn Hawaiian shirts. I don't know why that bothers her so much that he likes to wear Hawaiian shirts. I'm pretty sure he doesn't wear them to work, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't wear them every day. Like, girl, let that go. So in private, when she's talking to her mom and sister-in-law, the mom says to her, it seems like y'all talk a little bit too harsh to each other. And I'm like, Mom, your daughter. This is how Laura talks. This is how Laura talks. Your daughter. I don't really see him. Does he talk harsh to her? But she does talk harsh to him. So Laura goes on and on about the Hawaiian shirts, and the sister-in-law tries to tell her, girl, don't put too much on it. Just let him express himself. It's not that big of a deal. So that's how that ended. Now let's move on to the meat and potatoes of it all. So we see Jeremy sitting in the living room with his sunglasses on, and Laura comes from upstairs and she sits down across from him, and they just sit there without really saying anything. And already you can tell that, some crap is about to happen. Something has gone down because there's a lot of tension. They both seem upset. They both seem on edge. She tells him to take off the sunglasses, which he does. And she asks him, what the hell? You were gone from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m. He talks about how the people that were in the pods with him had reached out to him, wanted to hang out, not sure why. Maybe it's because she had to work. I'm not sure why they didn't want to, why Laura was not included. If it was the people that were in the pods with them reaching out, I don't know why, but maybe she didn't want to go. So reached out to him. Hey, come hang out. Sarah Ann was a part of that group. They go to a bar. He says, he tells her, I had my location on, so you could have tracked me, wherever the hell I was. You could have tracked me. You knew exactly where I was the whole entire time. After the bar, we sat in the parking lot, and, he admits that him and Sarah Ann were talking for quite a while, up until 5 o'clock in the morning. So she says, he wants to make it seem like because he had his location on, why is she so upset? She knew where he was. Okay, but she doesn't know what you're doing for 5 hours. She doesn't know what you're doing. She may know where you're at, but doesn't know what the hell you're doing. So she's like, just because you give me your location, that don't mean crap. And I know that you were in the area where Sarah Ann lives. So bottom line, he's hanging out with Sarah Ann when he's supposed to be in this relationship with Laura. And whatever he was doing was not right, inappropriate, even if he was just talking to her. Because of the fact that there was this connection between them, it's extremely inappropriate that he would be hanging out with this other woman for so damn long, until 5 o'clock in the morning. I personally think that it was just Sarah Ann that reached out to him somehow. And I think him leaving the house to go hang out. It was just him leaving the house to go spend time with Sarah Ann. It had nothing to do with hanging out with a group of people, and Sarah Ann just happened to be among them. And then they broke. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But his intention was to be with Sarah Ann. Whether there were other people there or not, it was in a group or not, his intention for walking out of that house was to go meet up with Sarah Ann. Point blank, period. And Laura has every right to be upset about it. But, if I was Laura, I would have left. I'm not going to be embarrassed on television, but, other people are different. So I don't know what she's going to do. Hopefully it's over. Hopefully she's had enough of that and that it's over, but who the hell knows? But I think he was out with Sarah Ann at Sarah Ann's house, and only God knows. God, Sarah Ann, and Jeremy know what the hell was going on over there. Moving on to Chelsea and Jimmy. So Jimmy's back in the house. After spending the night in his own apartment, he comes back the next day. And I'm wondering if he came back because Jessica didn't respond to his friend request. He felt some kind of way. He got all up in his feelings about Jessica ignoring him. And so he decided to come back home with his tail between his legs. So he tells her that he plans to be with her forever and that he loved meeting her friends. And he tells her that he loves her more now since, he met her friends. Jimmy says, that when he told her that he wanted to pull back on sex, what he actually meant was that he doesn't want her to stop initiating sex. And she fell for that. She believed that. Those are two completely opposite things. I don't see how one could mean the other. When he told her, according to Jimmy, when he said to her that he wanted to stop having sex with her, he actually meant he wanted her to continue to initiate sex. And she's still there with him. Moving on. So they meet up, both her and Jimmy meet up with a couple of his female friends. I don't want to go too much into it because I really didn't care about this scene. At the end of the day, the friends liked her, she liked them, but she said that, in her past relationships, when her boyfriends have had female friends, they ended up cheating on her with those female friends. I doubt that that's happened. I really doubt that's happened. I think she just wants to let him know that she's going to be on alert when it comes to him hanging out with these female friends. That's how I took it. Moving on to AD and Clay. So they're at a restaurant and they're going to be meeting up with Clay's mom and sister. So the mom and sister show up. Clay introduces everybody. I felt like the mom felt kind of relieved that AD was black. That's how I felt. But maybe I was reading too much into it. They ask her about, what she does. She talks about how she's in real estate and she also owns her own nightclub, I think. And that in the future, she would like to go into property investment where you're flipping homes. So she's got plans. She's got a great job now. She's doing really well now career wise. And then she has, even bigger plans for herself in the future. So they really did like that. So then the conversation veered to their conflicting work schedules and them managing quality time. So they're going back and forth right there in front of the mom and sister about how they feel like the other is not prioritizing quality time, or not necessarily that, but I think she was complaining to him that he wasn't making it a priority to have quality time together. And he's telling her he's working, he's got to work, and kind of like, implying, so you don't want me to work so I can spend quality time with you. And she tells him, of course I expect you to work. I don't have a problem with you working and, chasing the bag and doing all of that, but I also want time with you. So the mom steps in and says that if you really think that someone is important and you care enough about them, you will make the time for them. And she talks about, her being married, for 25 years. She understands, she's in the position to give them the advice that they need to hear on how to make a marriage work. So that was basically the end of that with AD and Clay. And then we go to, but then again, let's not forget this. During that meeting with AD and Clay and the mom and sister, there was a moment where Clay, I think AD asked a question No, I think this is how it went. I think she says something like, "Well, there is a problem," and he goes, "What's the problem?" And he said it kind of like, his voice got kind of loud, and she was like, "Hold on, calm down, y'all. This ain't it. This ain't it at all. AD and Clay, it ain't it. With him wanting to control her weight, with him having all of the issues with infidelity and thinking that that's all black men do, and that's all he's ever known black men to do was to cheat on their partners. AD, what are you doing? What are you doing? You have stuck around way too long. You have stuck around way too long. I'm surprised that you have not left yet. Like, what are you doing?" And then him barking at you like that at the dinner table at the restaurant in front of his mom. Absolutely not. Moving on from there, we have Amy and Johnny. So they took a bachata dance class. Okay, that was cute. And then Johnny's sisters and brother-in-law come over to meet Amy, and it all went really well. They all liked each other a lot, to the point where the sisters told them, "Just say yes on the wedding day. Both of y'all just say yes." So yeah, it was. Yeah, that was basically it. It was like not much happened in this episode. Now that I'm thinking about it, did I miss anything? I don't think so. Not much happened. Anyways, that's the end of that. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video, if you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.